The environmentalism hoax. It's all about power, control, and profit through fear. On an emotional level, burning tons of fossil fuels every year has to be a threat to the environment. But the math is simple. The present 400 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is 0.04%. In 1950, it was 300 parts per million, which is 0.03%. The difference is 0.01%, 1 part in 10,000. The question is, how can a 0.01% change in our atmosphere spell disaster? Since it is necessary for plant growth, how can plants even survive with only 0.04% carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? That is 1 molecule in 2,500. That is a miracle. And plants generate oxygen and food for us in the process. Actually, the increase in carbon dioxide is thus wholly beneficial to the environment. There is no evidence it causes any harm. Plants have to come in contact with 2,500 molecules to get one that they need for growth and survival. This is what it looks like.
Now, what about natural equilibrium? The more carbon dioxide available, the faster plants grow, and the more carbon dioxide the plants remove from the atmosphere. Therefore, a runaway condition is impossible. However, for the natural equilibrium to work well, forests have to be managed properly. If not managed properly, the process will experience a setback and the environment can be devastated. The misguided environmental movement banning forest management has resulted in 16 million acres of dead trees in the United States.
This has resulted in massive forest fires in Oregon and California, over 6 million acres, that have released billions of tons of carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. The fires also produced massive amounts of air and water pollution. Endangered species, other animals, and people have been burnt alive. This cannot be blamed on global warming. There were 11 massive forest fires that had been recorded in the United States in the 1800s. 2 of them were 2.5 million acres each. Logging thins forests and prevents wildfires from becoming catastrophic and costs taxpayers nothing. Banning logging was a totally irresponsible and emotional decision. As a building material, lumber is put in a place where it is very unlikely to burn. Trump tweeted, "There's no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly forest fires in California except that forest management is so poor."
The facts are clear. California's deadliest year of wildfires has been decades in the making, with overlapping environmental rules, both state and federal, making fuel load reductions in forests and coastal chaparral nearly impossible, while hostility towards commercial timber harvesting has allowed a massive build-up in tree and brush density, with a concurrent reduction of access roads and fire breaks. Yet, in spite of blaming climate change and attacking President Trump for suggesting bad environmental policies made California's fires worse, California's outgoing governor, Jerry Brown, in November 2018, quietly signed 2 bills to correct the worst of the state's fire management policy missteps, proving Trump was right all along.
The laws called for spending $200 million a year over 5 years on clearing trees and brush to make forests less fire-prone. With estimates over 100 million dead trees in California, that amounts to less than $10 per tree. Permitting logging would have been much more cost-effective. In December 2018, President Trump issued an executive order expanding logging on federal land. In addition to removing trees, Mr. Trump asked his secretaries to remove forest brush and debris that help fuel fires from more than 4 million acres and treat another 1.5 million acres to control tree-destroying pests. Since logging was deeply cut back on national forests in the 1990s in a failed effort to protect fish, wildlife, and clean water, it will take time to reverse 25 years of neglect.
Also, consider this. The rapid growth of plants in the Carboniferous period, about 300 million years ago, caused a reduction in atmospheric carbon dioxide. That produced large deposits of dead plants, animals, and other organisms that became the basis for our coal, oil, and natural gas. Average global temperatures in the early Carboniferous period were high, approximately 20 degrees centigrade, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. However, cooling during the middle Carboniferous period reduced average global temperatures to about 12 degrees centigrade, 54 degrees Fahrenheit, which is cooler than the current average 13.7 degrees centigrade, 56.7 degrees Fahrenheit. During that time, atmospheric carbon dioxide levels fell from roughly 8 times the current level in the beginning to a level similar to today's at the end.
With carbon dioxide levels 8 times the present level, the Earth actually got cooler, not warmer, but it did take 60 million years. The reports of the impending demise of the human race are greatly exaggerated.
The reports on the impending demise of the human race are greatly exaggerated.
Visit roysrant.com for this information as a document with references.